Australian electric vehicle charging manufacturer Tritium has just secured its largest order from a single customer in company history. BP has placed an order for its vehicle chargers, which it will install across Australia, the US and Europe. Well, joining me now is Tritium Chief Executive Jane Hunter. Jane, thanks for your time today. Just how large is this order from BP and when can we expect to start seeing some of these chargers being installed in Australian petrol stations?
Yeah, hi Ed. I mean, it was a great order to receive from BP and an ongoing strategic partnership for Tritium with BP. We had an order that we secured in 2022 for 1,000 chargers, which we published, which was a very large order for us at that time. This order exceeds that. BP is not comfortable to release the actual number, and that's their call based on competitive market intel, but it is a larger order than 1,000 chargers, and it's the single largest order that we have in company history for Tritium.
Yeah, what attracts companies like BP to the Tritium chargers? What sets you apart from the competition?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. And one of the things that we found is that we have now got customers of the calibre of Shell, BP, Enel, the world's second largest energy company. And that's because of our technology. So it's world leading in terms of reliability, and it's the only fully liquid cooled electric vehicle charger in the fast charging market. And that leads to a small footprint and high reliability and uptime. And that also gives us an IP65 rating, which is an ingress protection 65 rating, protecting the charger against the elements and the environment, against dust, dirt, salt corrosion. And you can see there the chargers that you've got in the imagery. The top 2/3 where the power electronics are fully sealed. And we're the only IP65 rated charger globally on the market in fast charging.
And Jane, just give our audience a sense of how long it takes to charge up a standard vehicle with one of your fast chargers.
It's dependent on the car battery, Ed. So if your car can take the ultra-fast chargers, and the fastest charger we make is a 350 kilowatt, then you could charge your battery typically in around 10 minutes. So what we say as a rule of thumb is you would get around 350 kilometres of range in about 10 minutes. With 175 kilowatt, you get about 175 kilometres of range in about 10 minutes. And then so on. You go down to a 50 and a 75, you get 50 kilometres of range or 75 kilometres of range in about 10 minutes. And if you don't need to fill the battery right up, you'd get plenty in, say, 5 to 7 minutes with an ultra-fast like a 350 kilowatt. But you've got to keep in mind that the car battery is actually limiting the speed of the uptake. So you need a fast battery uptake like the Porsche Taycan or the Tesla Model 3 to take all of the power that can be given by an ultra-fast charger.
You've also announced your preliminary financial results overnight and record sales in the year. How much demand are you experiencing right now?
Demand is outstripping supply in this market, certainly for those handful of global charger manufacturers who have a world-leading product. So for us and our competitors, you'll find that we're almost sold out for production lines in 2023. And as you would have seen, we have a record backlog of 159 million. That's US dollars. So that makes up almost all of our projected revenue guidance for next year of just in excess of 200 million US dollars.
Yeah, and Tritium, you've got a big factory up in Brisbane. How many chargers can you manufacture there in an average month or year?
Yeah, so the capacity for the Brisbane factory is 5,000 chargers or 5,000 units annually. And the Tennessee factory wrapped up the year with a 6,000 unit capacity. And we expect to finish 2023 with a capacity, a production level of 11,000 units over the course of 2023 at Tennessee. And we'll continue to have that 5,000 unit capacity in Brisbane, although we do actually intend for Brisbane to add an R&D line to harden the product so that we actually will use that to take from our test facility and our research and development engineers, and they'll be able to go straight to the factory, do tooling trial and risk ramp at the Brisbane factory before we push that out into our mass manufacturer across our global factories.
One story we've seen emerge in the last couple of weeks has been Tesla, which in Australia has started discounting its vehicles. Are you concerned that consumers are going to start to potentially tighten up their spending and not buy electric vehicles in the future?
No, not at all. I mean, electric vehicles have come to stay. There's no chance at all that we'll go back to the internal combustion engine. And so as consumers make their choice about their next car, and you're talking about a really huge choice for Australians because you tend to keep your car for 10 years, I don't think there's any chance that you're making such a huge financial decision you're going to choose an internal combustion engine now that that decision has been made by almost all of the global car manufacturers. So No, I don't think we'll see any return to the internal combustion engine or consumers choosing internal combustion engines with the next vehicle purchase that they make. And in fact, we love Tesla. They're a great enabler of this industry. So they really kicked the industry off, and I don't think it would be where it is today without Tesla.
And I know you're based in the US at the moment talking to me. How much of a focus now is that US market for Tritium?
Look, it's a huge focus as President Biden's funding comes online. He set aside billions of dollars of infrastructure funding to electrify American highways. That's very attractive to us. It does require you to be compliant with what's called their NEVI funding, so the National Electric Vehicle funding, as well as being Buy America compliant. So that has meant that we do have a focus on opening a US factory, but we continue to run our Australian factory, which will service the Asia Pacific region, Oceania, Australia, New Zealand, which are also large markets for us. They make up 14 to 15% of our revenue typically. And of course, Europe is an even larger focus. And what we found is that last year, our revenue was about half from Europe, just under that from North America, and maybe sort of 13 to 15% from the Asia Pacific region.
Well, Jane Hunter, Chief Executive at Tritium, thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks so much for having us on the program. I appreciate it.